It's JD, of course. If you're Cleveland, you're coming into this game the clear underdogs, but there is ways you can make plays to win the game on offense and defense. For the offense, of course, that running game is what starts it off.
Yeah, Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt are in. There were question marks. Jack Conklin's going to go today. B.J. Goodson's back. So you look to be as healthy as can be. David Njoku, despite his injuries, he's back. And there's a lot of at least hope for the Cleveland Browns. Meanwhile, on the other side, the injury news not as good. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, as well as Sammy Watkins, both out for the Kansas City Chiefs.
For the Browns, the key on the defense is getting that front four pressure. We had George Littlejoe, former Browns offensive lineman, talk about how important that was, getting home with the front four, especially against a quarterback in Patrick Mahomes that is scarily mobile on his feet.
Yeah. I mean, when you can keep him contained in the pocket, there's, if you can get home with four, and again, it's going to be that opposite side of Myles Garrett. Are you able to get somebody there and just keep that gap contained? It's going to be challenging, but I think both quarterbacks can do that. I mean, as much as we talk about Patrick Mahomes, Baker Mayfield, George mentioned it as well, and the fact that that Baker Mayfield has an opportunity to sit there, roll out, and then find his receiver downfield. So we'll see. I think it's going to be an interesting game. I think, for everybody that thinks this is going to be a blowout, I think it's going to be a lot closer than many are expecting.
We are all predicting it to be fairly close. The game starts in just 7 minutes from Arrowhead Stadium. Browns and Chiefs, the winner gets the Bills in the AFC title. 16-10. Rashard Higgins was about a half a yard away from scoring a touchdown. And arguably one of the most difficult rules in football strikes the Browns.
Yeah, and just to explain the rules, so Rashard Higgins caught the football, reached for the pylon. However, he fumbled the ball before reaching the goal line, crossing the goal line. Ball went through the end zone and out of bounds. By NFL rules, that is a touchback as the offensive player lost the football, and that means it goes to the defending team, in that case, Kansas City. So just for those at home that may have just been confused on what happened, how that play transpired, that's how that happened. But again, it's a difficult and challenging rule, and you could have opinions. The other case is don't reach for the pylon. You still had time on the clock.
Sure.
But again, the other part to that play was there appeared to be a hit by the defender, Daniel Sorensen, to the head of Higgins, which could have caused the fumble. That play was not flagged, and it is a non-reviewable play, unlike in college where they can buzz down and look for targeting and such plays. So, man, just a difficult last 5 minutes if you're a Browns fan, and then the Chiefs turn it in to a field goal, 10-point swing just like that.
In that first half, the Browns defense had a tough time handling Patrick Mahomes. He was not surprisingly efficient. Travis Kelce had a touchdown reception and really got an open space. And I mean, the Browns defense, 19 points, of course, is a lot and a half to give up, but they've done their job to at least be able to stay in the game. It's been the offense that's made the mistakes and the drops and the fumbles that has kept the Browns out of it, at least for the moment.
Well, I think what's going to be interesting about this game is to see how Cleveland responds. They're going to get the ball to start the second half. If you get points on the board, you're down 9. So there's there's life. You could go for 2 both times for touchdowns. You're within striking distance. They were able to move the football in that last possession prior to the touchback fumble. So if they can replicate some of that, and interestingly enough, a lot of that drive was through the air and through the passing game, being it where it was in the half. But the run game has certainly not been able to. And Jim Nantz on the CBS broadcast made an interesting note that we haven't seen much of Kareem Hunt. Surprising after the way he ran the football last week against Pittsburgh.
I'm going to go ahead and pull up my phone out here because it's not just Kareem Hunt. We haven't seen much, to my knowledge, of Jarvis Landry either. He's been fairly quiet, at least for the first half, at least from my knowledge here. You take a look at the receptions. The leading receiver for the Browns, David Njoku, 2 catches, 53 yards. Jarvis Landry just 3 catches for 7 yards for the Browns. So your playmakers aren't making the plays for Cleveland, and it's the tight ends and Rashard Higgins who are the ones who are making the plays. So you wonder if you're Cleveland, get your offense more involved for the stars that got you there.
Yeah, it's interesting. The run game, obviously, that's by choice. Maybe Kansas City just doing a great job in coverage. But, yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it's like polar opposites from a week ago where Chubb, Hunt, and Landry were the showcase of the first half. And right now, it's just not the same offense. But like I said, we'll see. Maybe they get a little momentum right there before the half, minus the fumble that was costly
Right.
And they can pick up from there and see that they can move the football in this Kansas City defense.
See what happens. It's a 16-point game. Like John said, Browns do get the football to start the second half, so we'll see if Baker Mayfield and company can engineer a drive to get them within one score. All right, we'll keep you updated on Erie Sports Now throughout the day. Browns looking for a comeback. They're going to need it if they want